I want you to think about email marketing as permission marketing. This is actually the title of Seth Godin's book from 1999. And the big idea here is that people who give you permission to market to them are 10x to 100x more valuable than people you simply interrupt. Right? So a Facebook ad is just interruption marketing. They're trying to waste time on Facebook. They're trying to make their lives look better than it is. They're spying on an X. Who knows what they're doing on Facebook? But we interrupt them with our advertisement. Okay. And that marketing isn't necessarily going to be as compelling. It's not going to hold as much weight. There's not as much trust involved. There's no relationship there. Therefore, it's simply not going to work as well as permission-based marketing. That's why the number one goal in everything I do is to really, after gaining their attention, so the number one goal after gaining their attention is to invite them into a deeper relationship where they give you permission to market to them so you can build trust. Right? So step one, got to get their attention. Step two is ask for and obtain permission to market to them. Now, I say market to them loosely because ultimately through email marketing, we give lots and lots of value. And that is a key component because if you're just sending offers, it's never going to ultimately work because you're not going to build the trust that you need. So they trust you when they click on your affiliate link or they click on your sales page. They trust that you can actually get them the result. You could build up that trust through the process that we're going to go for here. So why is an email list required for success? Well, 95 to 99.999% plus of people don't buy on the first click. Okay. The greatest marketers in the world rarely get a 5% conversion rate from a cold traffic click. In fact, some of the best marketers in the world get less than a 1% conversion rate from a cold traffic click to an actual sale. And when you build your list, you're giving yourself multiple opportunities to convert that sale. Dean Jackson from the I Love Marketing podcast, he's a brilliant marketer. And he said many, many times that of all the people who are going to purchase from you, right? Not everyone's going to purchase, period. But of all the people, that 100% of people who are going to eventually purchase from you, 15% of people who purchase do so in the first 90 days. 85% of people who will purchase from you are going to do so after that 90-day mark. So the 80-20 rule is actually skewed in favor of after 90 days. So after 90 days of that first interaction is when most people are going to buy. So are you staying in touch with them? Are you building the relationship? Are you giving value? Email is the mechanism at which we can do this the best. So you get more attempts to make the sale, right? And you can also offer more things. You don't just offer your stuff, you're able to offer other people's stuff. If you were to count up and tally up the volume of sales I've made through the Miles Beckler brand, by far the majority of sales have been for other people's products as an affiliate, right? I do sell, obviously, this membership program, but most of the transactions I've been able to initiate are actually for other people's things. Generally, it's because I'm showing exactly how to do something. Here's how to do keyword research. And by the way, you need this paid tool. So that kind of mechanism of reminding people, here's the result that you want. Here's how to go get it. Send them an email that's well-timed. They click and they end up purchasing because they watch the training and they want the result. That's how I actually make most of my income. So it's all about trust. And ultimately, the email opt-in is the first transactional experience. This is your opportunity to get them to trust you. Because their first thought is, can I really trust them with my email address? Do I believe that they're going to help me get the result that they're saying I'm going to get in this lead magnet thing? And we're going to talk about all these bits and pieces, but it's trust. When they give you their email and then you actually deliver on what you promised, they take action on that thing that you gave them, they get on the path to achieving their goals, then the belief gets instilled that you can actually help them achieve their goals. And it's when you cross that threshold that you're ultimately on the path to making that sale. It gives you the opportunity to give more value so you can build up reciprocity. You can also overcome objections through emails when you get really good at this. You can build the beliefs that are required to make sure that they know that they'll be able to get results working with you. And ultimately, this is how you become their trusted advisor. Now, this is a screenshot from one of my 3 different shopping carts. This is the last 365 days. And I'm showing you this because I want you to see the spikes. I want you to see the almost heartbeat-like shape to this. And everywhere that there's a spike on this in income, there was an email directly or a series of emails. Generally speaking, it's a first email. We got a special offer coming out and there's a limited time. And then there's a final email, which is why you can see on most of these, there's a big spike up right away. It goes down a little bit in the period between the opening and the closing of the cart. And then it goes way up for that last call. And this is ultimately every single spike right in here. You literally could go back into my email autoresponder series and you could see that there are emails that are directing people towards specific offers. And this is where we make most of our money right here. I do also often run pay-per-click promotions in conjunction with these, right? So when I open the cart and I've got a big promotion running, I'm definitely going to be running pay-per-click emails, but over 90% of my sales come directly from the emails themselves. And then those low points in the revenue, these are when we're sending value emails to our list. So we're rebuilding the value. We're making more deposits into that value account before asking for that sale again in the future. And also that's kind of the revenue that's showing up usually on those are the one-time offer sales. Income without an email list is a big time danger zone. So whether you've heard my origin story or not, I started making money online in 2003. It's worth going back over this briefly because there's such a truth in here. Now, I was direct linking people from a social media website, MySpace in this day, over to an affiliate offer. And I was making thousands upon thousands of dollars. But MySpace got bought out by Fox News Corporation. And MySpace decided to block my links and essentially rendered my method no longer in alignment with their terms of service. And they shut me down overnight. And my income that at that point in my life I had learned to live on, I was spending every penny I made from my day job and from my several $1,000s a month from my affiliate thing, living on near the beach in Santa Monica, California. Literally my income dried up overnight. It went to zero. And I had no recourse. Had I grown a list, I would have been able to make more money in the short term, right? Because I would have followed up with people. So the whole time I'm actually running that kind of affiliate marketing campaign, I would have been able to follow up with more people and make more sales in the short term. But then once they turned off my links, I still would have been able to keep earning income. I would have weathered that storm and I would have been able to grow that for the long term. I could have replaced that traffic as long as I would have been able to keep emailing. I could have kept that income going. So now let's contrast this. A couple of years ago with Melanie on Facebook, when the Facebook organic marketing was in its heyday, Melanie was just a profound marketer on that platform. And we were getting over 300,000 visits a month to our website organically. And then the algorithm changed. And we lost literally 90% of that traffic overnight. It's actually way more than 90% of traffic. Okay. But here's the cool part. Our income didn't really budge and we were able to replace that traffic source. Now Pinterest organic is a big time place where we're getting a lot of our organic social traffic from, but our email list was still delivering approximately the same number of sales before we lost that traffic as it was after. And that's because we focus all of our efforts on the email list growth. So I made the mistake once, I rectified the mistake and survived a very, very similar kind of catastrophe within the business on the traffic level. And I'm with you both of these to be able to make sure it's 100% abundantly clear to you that you must be growing an email list. It really truly is the asset that your business is built on, which means this is where all the value and the income comes for you. The required pieces to the puzzle. So we've got the lead magnet, which is the offer itself. That's the thing you give away, right? The MP3, the videos, whatever it might be, the PDF, etc. Then there's the opt-in page or the pop-up. This is the mechanism or the moment you actually deliver your offer and you use a headline and you kind of give them that opportunity to take you up on that offer. Then there's a thank you page. This is the page that they see immediately after taking that action. Then you have the autoresponder. This is once they're onto your email list, you need to deliver the item and then follow up and send broadcasts, etc. Then you have a delivery page. We don't deliver the product right away. We want to deliver it via email, so you need a special delivery page for that. And then there's split testing. You know, the whole world of building out your email marketing machine, it's not a done once and done forever part of your business. Okay. Successful businesses are always optimizing their opt-in process for maximum ROI. Melanie's business is over 10 years old. We're still optimizing, testing new offers, testing new upsells, testing new email follow-up sequences, because ultimately this is where all of the money is at within our business. So the first piece of that was your lead magnet, right? We're going to help you figure out what is a high value, easy to consume piece of content for your audience that's fast for you to create. This is key because you might need to iterate a few times to find that thing that really clicks with them. Your lead magnet needs to get your audience into action, right? You want to help them get off the couch and get moving because those are the people they trust, can help them get essentially the desired outcomes they want in their life, right? And you want to get them on the path to their desired result. You don't always get them the actual desired result. This is the idea that your opt-in is actually preparing them to become a customer, okay? They need to have the experience of, wow, Miles really can help me get closer to my dreams of a successful online business, right? That's what my opt-in is there to serve. So when the time comes to offer my product, they're like, man, I went through this free thing and God, that was really good. I bet his paid stuff's great. And why do they have that belief? Because they took action and they got on the path to their desired result and it became more believable for them. So this is really the key at this point. And this is what this whole training is designed to do, is to help you get going fast. We need you to get version 1.0 up and running fast so you can start to build your email list, so you can have a location to send people to get your free thing that's going to be exciting for them, so you can start to prove to your audience members that you can help them. You are the trusted advisor. You are that friendly, helpful guide who can help them achieve their goals. Everyone in this world seeks to improve their lives. We all want more happiness. We all want less frustration. There's things we all want, and literally, secretly, maybe not even secretly, we're all looking around for people we can trust who can guide us to get us that which we desire. And when you prove yourself as that person for your audience, that you're committed to them, that you're trustworthy, that you can actually help them get results, that is the moment you've actually won in business. And that's why this little segment, this little section here is truthfully the key. All right, at this point, we're into the actual lead magnet portion of the training. And the goal here in this training is to help you build out your irresistible lead magnet. Yes, the main purpose is to get the opt-in, right? That's why you create the lead magnet. That's why we build the lead pages. That's why we're growing our list. But ultimately, your lead magnet needs to prepare your audience to buy. Our goal here is not to solve all of their problems. You want to get them on the path to a better life so they believe that you can help them solve their problems and achieve their goals. Okay, so ultimately you want to give them the first steps, give them an easy win, and get them into action. It's key to remember that no one wants more email. Literally 0 people woke up this morning thinking, I hope I can get more emails in my inbox today. And really, if you think about it, they don't even want what you sell. They want the result. They want a better life. And what that means is different to every single human being on this planet, right? So some people might define a better life as less pain, right? Less knee pain, less back pain, less emotional pain, a lot of different ways that can manifest. Some people might look at a better life as less weight. But yet another person might look at a better life as more weight, right? Somebody might want to lose weight because they're obese and they want to get skinny, whereas somebody else might be skinny and they want to bulk up and have muscles, okay? Somebody might want more time, more fun, more joy. The truth is that every human on earth wants to experience more happiness, okay? Happiness is relative to them, their world, their situation. And each and every one of us is always choosing what we are willing to put and focus our time on and our income on and our money on because we think it's going to bring us more happiness. For some people, spending all day on Sunday in a man cave, drinking beer, watching American football, and winning at fantasy football, that is their ultimate happiness. And we can think of a yogi who wants nothing more than to do a 30-day silent retreat, and that is their happiness. And I can't really think of much other extremes to make the clear point, and this is the key point here, is that everyone has a different vision of happiness. And ultimately, you need to know what that is for your customer avatar, because you need to help get them on that path. And when you're the one who gets them on that path, you become their helpful guide. And that's really what they want. Because what there is there's a gap between where they are now and where they want to be. They need help crossing that gap. And that's where you come in. That is our job as digital marketers, is we help people get results. What result? It's happiness. They want more happiness. And they might think losing weight is that happiness. They might think gaining more muscle is that happiness. They might think that learning how to make quilts is that happiness. It could be a billion different things, right? So they're willing to invest in that which they believe is going to bring them more happiness. There's a gap between where they are now and where they want to be, which they think that being there is where they're going to be happy, right? Winning at fantasy football, then I'll be happy. Having a business that generates 10 grand a month, then I'll be happy. Having a Facebook ad that converts 5% of people to clicks, then I'll be happy. These are the things they think of, and we build those bridges for them. And the first steps on that bridge is ultimately the lead magnet. Now, these individuals are skeptical, and they also have thousands of different desires they could spend their time and money on, okay? So they're always making kind of on-demand judgment decisions, real-time judgment decisions on what they're actually going to put their money, their time, their attention towards. And they're really only going to care about your lead magnet. They're only going to care about your offers if it helps them get more of what they value most. When you show them that you can help them get the results that they desire, and when they value that result, that you can help get them more than the million other desires that they have, they're ready to take a step in your direction. Not just for the lead magnet, not just for the emails, not just for the products that you offer, but really ultimately for the results that they desire most. So preparing them to buy is actually one of the key things that your lead magnet will do. What will they, these three questions you're looking at right here on your screen. These are great questions to be asking yourself, right? This is kind of taking what you know from the customer avatar and bringing it into the world of how do I actually bridge them from where they're at to help them get on the path to get the result, to ultimately purchasing my course, my coaching program, my training, that affiliate thing I recommend that is going to get them the result that they desire. So you need to think about what will they need to believe in order to buy my product or service? What objections might they have before buying? That's exactly what we can do right now is we can answer their objections before they ever come up on a sales page with this kind of content, with the ultimately with the lead magnet and the follow-up emails. What pain or desperation precedes their purchasing? Okay, what is that moment? What is that inciting incident? What is that thing that happens that, okay, now I'm ready to start losing weight? Or, okay, now I'm ready to hit the gym and bulk up. Okay, what is that actual moment, that thing? So your goal isn't to solve all the problems, and it's not to sell them something. It's preparing them to buy and proving to them that you can help them get what they want. You need to install the beliefs required for them to purchase your core product. And one of these beliefs is, can I trust this person? That's one of them. Can this person help me? Has this person helped anyone else do what they say they're about to help me? These are all of the beliefs that need to be built up in their mind before they're ready to click the buy button on a sales page. Okay, so this is your opportunity to overcome their objections before they ever hear the sales offer. And really solving that first key pain point on a long path is the ticket here. If you sell a Facebook ads course, then having a Facebook ads checklist is a great way to help them make sure they don't mess up their first campaign. Because if they're just launching their first Facebook ads campaign, they might not be ready to buy your $300, $500 course on Facebook ads. They might be thinking, I'm going to go at it alone. I'm just going to launch this out. But the moment before they click that button, they're like, wow, did I forget anything? Did I miss anything? Oh, I don't want to mess this up. And if they can go get for free your checklist, you, someone who has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars successfully on Facebook ads, you who has created millions of dollars in revenue, right? If they can go get your actual checklist for free, just to be sure that they got everything done, that is going to make them feel happy in that moment. That is how they get confidence and happiness in that exact moment. And that is a great connection point for someone who might actually be interested in buying your full course in the future. That's how this works. A great lead magnet is quick and easy to consume. It's instantly actionable and it's results focused. Okay. And it's focused, not generic, right? It's specific, not generic. People are extremely busy. We're all surrounded by distractions and we have very short attention spans. The number of distractions that are bombarding each and every one of us today is so much greater than it was 10, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, that we have more distractions to compete with, right? You have to figure out a way to become the signal within the noise. And there's more noise today than ever. So your content needs to be quick and easy to consume, and it needs to be simple to understand. If they can't get in and quote unquote get it, right, and understand it and be able to put that into action quickly, the next distraction is going to come up. That next alert is going to happen on their phone. The kid's going to come in with bloody elbows because they fell off their bicycle. Something is going to distract them if you don't get them, captivate them, and get them on the path almost instantly. So a huge win for you is when they start taking action, when they experience the results based on your teachings and they have a moment of, hey, I kind of get this. I think I might actually cross that gap and get to where I want to go. The Facebook advertising checklist example that I did a moment ago, right? When they have that moment of like, okay, I'm now confident that I got all of the bits and pieces in the right place. I'm ready to launch this campaign. And when you help them gain that confidence, you have just taken a gigantic step forward in that role of being their trusted advisor. This is also a chance to support yourself as the absolute authority in your field. Getting known as a master of one thing is going to help you immensely in your business. Being a great Facebook ad writer versus being a great Facebook ad pay-per-click pro versus being a social media marketing pro versus being a digital marketing pro, okay? When people are in the moment looking to solve a specific problem, they want a specific answer. And someone who says, hey, I'm a digital marketing pro, I can help you with Facebook, I can help you with everything, versus the person who has an issue, their ad's not working, they know their ad's not working, they know they need a better ad, they are going to go seek out the best Facebook ad writers and teachers of Facebook ad writers out there. So when you're specific, you have that opportunity to meet them where they are, okay? I hope that makes sense, because the specificity in everything that you do, we live in the age of long tail. You can go look on YouTube and you can find channels about everything, about model trains, about figurines. Like there's so many super specific niche desires being kind of tuned into through the world of the cell phone, through the world of the Google and the apps that we all love, the Facebook groups, the forums. We're all congregating together in these hyper focused niche pursuits of ours, and you need to take that approach as a content creator and as someone making your lead magnet here. So what are the different types of lead magnets? Webinars, video trainings, ebooks, audio interviews, audio files and interviews, strategy sessions, consulting, checklists, guides, blueprints, templates, cheat sheets. This is a wide variety, and there's more than this, right? Anything that you can give away, obviously, could be a lead magnet, but not all lead magnets bring in the same volume of leads, and not all lead magnets bring in the same quality of leads. So what we're helping you figure out here is what actual items are going to give you the best balance of volume and quality. Because honestly, if you have a big list of 100,000 subscribers and they're very low quality leads, you aren't going to make good money long term. If you have a really focused list, maybe 2,500 or 3,500 people who are really focused on a list, and you know exactly what they want and they're super high quality, you can often make more money with this small list than you can with a big list, which is exactly why you can't go scrape 1 million emails from the internet, which there are software tools that will do that, and make any money. Because they don't know who you are. They don't trust you. You don't know what they're interested in. There's not that relevance, right? So when I was growing my list at 3,500 subscribers, I did an email promotion, and in 3 emails, I generated over $30,000 in revenue. Actually, that was profit for me, right? So why did that work with such a small list when other people with 100,000 subscribers on their list did not perform as well as I did? It's because I know these people deeply, innately, right? The customer avatar exercise, really understanding who they are and then building that trust. When it was time to, focus them on this unique opportunity, they were ready to take action. So we're going to break down the differences between each and every one of these in the next slides. But really, I recommend you focusing on the right-hand column, because these items, the checklist, the blueprints, the templates, the cheat sheets, they're really easy to create for you, and they're easy to consume for your audience, which is key. And they also can be extremely actionable. So they're going to help your subscribers start seeing results fast. That little Facebook example with the checklist that I gave you earlier, right? That individual downloads that checklist when they're about to launch their campaign. And then they go through it and they go, yep, okay, I got that. Yep, check that off my list. Okay, yep, I got that. And they're able to go right through that within a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and they're done. And they're like, oh, I got everything. Or maybe you help them identify something that they haven't done yet, and they don't have their custom conversions set up, and you actually showed them that. And they're like, oh, I'm really glad I downloaded this before I launched this out. That would have been a big mistake. You're quickly able to help them get real world results with all the items on the right side. Plus, they're easy to create, so they're easy to iterate, they're easy to test. You might end up testing several different lead magnets in the coming months to truly identify what your audience responds to best. So a little story here on the Miles Beckler brand. The first thing I put together was an audio file. It was was a downloadable MP3. I was only able to get about 18% conversion rate on that. The second one was a video training. It was actually a video case study, is how I presented it, but it was effectively a video training. That didn't work all that well either. But when I came to the 7-step blueprint that I'm still running today as I record this, that has worked wonders, because most of the people who are attracted to my content, they want a plan they can trust. They want a plan that is proven. And when I finally broke everything down into that 7-step blueprint, things really started to work, and that converts about 56% for me at this point in time. Note that I tried 3 separate things, right? 3 separate deliverables or lead magnets before I found the one that worked for me. My wife, the second thing she tried worked really well, which is an MP3 file. And since we sell audio files, giving away an audio file is actually a really good way for us to prepare them to buy. But we're now testing other ones. We're testing different types of PDFs. We're testing different things. Still to this day, 10 years in that business, we had a 45 to 48% conversion rate with the audio, but now I'm getting over 60% with my newest tests, right? There's always an opportunity to improve. And if you're buying traffic, your conversion rates on your opt-in page are everything. So let's jump into all of these different bits and pieces. So first, the webinars and the video trainings. Now, webinars and video trainings can be highly desired, which can lead you to getting great quality leads, but they're difficult to consume, and oftentimes they take a long time to produce for you. Webinars specifically, you might be able to get your script dialed in by following like the perfect webinar script or something, but you're probably going to have to perform that webinar 30, 40, 50, sometimes upwards of 100 times to really get the presentation down. People who do a webinar once or twice and then record it have terrible results. People who go perform that webinar over and over and over, it's just like speaking from stage, right? It's an act that you have to master. So they also require scheduling at the webinar level, and you're always going to lose a percentage of people after opting in who never show up, right? So with a webinar, you don't only have your opt-in rate, but you have your show up rate that you have to manage. And oftentimes you'll lose half of the people who opt in to your actual webinar itself. And what this does is it drives up the cost. And even though you might be getting really good people, right, high quality leads, the fact that you're getting so few of them to actually show up means you have to pay a lot of money to get a customer. And it's oftentimes cost prohibitive because of these challenges. I think also people are starting to associate the word webinar with sales pitch. So this also drives up the cost per lead because it's like, I'll probably learn 1 or 2 things out of this, but I don't really want to watch a sales pitch right now. That's not true in every niche, but in many niches, that is absolutely starting to happen right now. So this can actually be one of the most expensive of all lead magnets to promote. Now, video trainings that are accessed on demand, they're easier for people to watch and they don't have that show up rate. So there can be a greater value for your audience long-term in those, but they're difficult to produce and they're difficult to consume, right? When someone just signs up for free and they get a 3-hour video training or a long series of video trainings or even a full hour video training, they have to stop everything else they're doing in life to go through that video training. And then they'll start to wonder, is this person going to help me get on the path to success quick enough? Or am I just going to drown in lots of content? Compare that with the checklist that we talked about earlier, where they can download it, they can go through what they're doing, and within a few minutes, they've identified, yes, I'm on the right path, or B, I missed this, I need to go back and work on this. We want to help them get on that path quickly. So I don't necessarily recommend this. It can absolutely work in certain niches, but you got to be a pro to get this stuff to work right. Then there's ebooks and book excerpts, depending on the audience, these can have a very low perceived value. The world of ebooks has been kind of blown out of proportion for a very long time, and ebooks have been used as lead magnets for just way too long. And book excerpts are even worse because they're not even going to give you the big picture, right? By definition, if you're just getting a chapter of a book, you're not going to get the whole big picture out of that book. So just getting a piece and not the whole idea is not all that valuable, and it's definitely not going to be all that actionable. Most books aren't actionable, let alone the excerpt being actionable itself. So you're not necessarily going to be able to get them on the path. An ebook feels like it's going to take a long time to consume. And everybody's experienced downloading an ebook that was absolutely terrible. It feels like a waste of time. And when they have that moment of like, oh God, this just took a bunch of my time. I don't even know what to do with this. Like, I'm out of here. You've lost them, right? Because you didn't get them on the path to success quickly. MP3s and interviews. So if you're an affiliate marketer and you're focused on a specific product or series of products, interviewing those product creators can make for a great lead magnet. This is a wonderful way for you to bridge the gap from being someone who's trying to help people in a niche that you're not necessarily an expert in, surrounding yourself with those experts and giving your audience members an experience of teaching, of learning, of connecting with the creators, the experts behind the products that you do actually recommend. It can be a really powerful opportunity. And a lot of these course creators and a lot of these vendors, if you will, who sell their affiliate products will be willing to get on and create great content with you. You just got to reach out and kind of schedule that. So MP3s are easier to create than video courses, and they're easier to consume, generally speaking, for the end users, right? It's easier just to listen. You could do other things while you're listening, but they don't always hold as high of perceived value, which is potentially a challenge. Also, there's very seldomly a correlation between listening to an MP3 file and having a feeling of like, this is really going to get me on the path to creating the life I desire. It's good information, but it's not always actionable. And you see that a lot in the world of podcasts and audiobooks. It's great to fill our brain with positive stuff, but ultimately with your lead magnet, getting them into action is the biggest key, because then they trust you can help them get results because you got them into action, seeing results. So these do work. Again, my wife and I, we've given away hundreds and hundreds of thousands of MP3s. But again, that's because we sell MP3s. So for our business, it prepares people to buy very well. If you're not doing something in the world of MP3s, it may or may not work, but the idea of using interviews where you're interviewing the other experts in your space, that could be a very, very, very powerful and valuable item if you get the right experts for the right people. Next are the strategy sessions and the free consultations. Now, to be perfectly real here, these are just sales calls and everybody knows it. I don't know about you, but I avoid my phone like the plague at this point in my life. It's full of spam, robodials, etc. I think the phone is quickly, like the actual phone where you dial numbers and you pick up to talk to people. I personally believe that the phone is quickly turning into a world of spam that most people avoid at all costs. So on this world of giving away a free strategy session or a free consultation, you are absolutely going to have the lowest opt-in rate and the highest cost per lead. You're also probably going to have the lowest show-up rate, which is probably going to be even lower than webinars because there's that schedule conflicting thing, right? So with all of those challenges stacked on, that means you're probably going to spend a whole lot more to actually have those conversations, and you are going to need to be a master closer for this to work. The benefit is that you can get really high quality leads, okay? So somebody who's willing to get on the phone with you for a strategy session or a free consultation, they clearly are motivated enough to solve their problem, to jump through all of those different hoops. But if you have to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars per lead, you're really going to have to just be an expert closer in order to get enough people in to recoup those costs. I personally believe that the right kind of checklist or template would be a better front-end lead magnet, and you can offer the strategy session after building the relationship and after helping them get on the path. Okay, so what I'm saying here is use one of the simpler approaches as your cold traffic offer and then put the strategy session as a back-end offer in your autoresponder or something you mention on your future broadcast emails to take out of those group of people on your email list, out of your audience who's subscribed, who is ready to take that next step. They already know you, they already like you, they already trust you, and at this point getting on the phone with you is a little bit more of a valuable proposition than some random ad they just saw on Facebook or YouTube. So next, we're getting into the ones that I really think are some of the smartest places for people to start: checklists and cheat sheets. When working on a new project or when people are working in a new platform, everyone has that like underlying thought of, did I forget something? It's the equivalent, it's the digital equivalent of you're going on a road trip and did I leave the coffee pot on, or did I remember to close the window, right? We all have these kinds of thoughts. And by offering checklists and cheat sheets, you can ultimately be their savior, right? These are highly desired and they're actionable, which is so key. So a 7-step checklist for YouTube videos that rank is going to be something that people who are trying to build a YouTube channel are all about. Then they get it, they can print it out, they can have it right by them, they can memorize it, and they're like, man, that has helped me optimize each and every video. They can see the growth rate in their channel. They love you in that point in time. Or maybe it's a 9-step checklist for creating real estate listings that sell fast, right? Maybe you've been a great listing agent and you're able to do 50 deals per year, which is about a deal a week, which is very, very fast for a real estate agent. And you've got this process and you're able to break your process down into a 9-step checklist. And so other listing agents who want to sell more of their listings, who their listings aren't moving, they can go find your checklist. They can look through it and be like, wow, I didn't do step number 6 or 7. That's why my listing hasn't sold. They take action, they make those changes, the listing sells. Who do you think they're going to be looking for coaching on getting more listings after that happens? Obviously, it's the person who gave them the checklist. Or maybe it's an 11-step checklist for profitable yoga retreats. This can be used in a very wide variety of niches. This is not digital only. This is not make money online marketing only. You need to sometimes think about it a little bit differently to kind of find those hooks where you can get in with a checklist, but they're super actionable, which is why they're really, really great. And I think they also prepare people to buy very well. Just with my kind of example, right? If your YouTube publishing checklist helps me get going and I can see actual growth in my YouTube channel, and you have an actual full-on YouTube course, well, I put your free thing into action. It worked for me. I liked it. I love the result. Man, maybe I will get your course because that free thing worked so well. Maybe I will actually take that course. This is the thought process that happens, and that's how they prepare people to buy. Okay, especially when your larger, greater system is actually a deep dive training on every single component in the checklist, right? So if your process is those 7 steps and you just go deep into each and every one of them, I'm doing my best just trying to tick each of those 7 boxes, but you're going to give me a deep dive training on each. You've primed me to realize that all 7 steps are important. So when your sales page shows me that you have the trainings for all 7 steps and how each one builds together to make a massive YouTube channel, I already believe it. Okay, that's how this works, and that's why these are so powerful. And what's funny is these are often super easy to put together and super easy to test. I think a lot of people spend way too long building complex lead magnets that they have no data points whether they're going to work or not, when a single simple PDF checklist can work wonders. When they follow your checklist and they feel confident in taking the next step, you've really truly taken a big step into the world of being their trusted advisor and their helpful guide. This is such a key. Again, you've heard me repeat it over and over. I'm going to keep repeating it because that is when you have won, is when they look at you as the person they can trust to help them get that thing they want more of in their life. Guides and blueprints. So this is like handing someone a roadmap. People want to follow proven paths. They want to use proven systems to create results that others have created. Okay. In my world, when someone embarks into the world of make money online or digital marketing, they want to know that the path they're on is going to create a proven result. How do they know if that's going to be true? Well, they follow people who have created the result. And they like to follow people who have not only created the result, but documented the process along the way. Okay, so my 15 years of experience in digital marketing mixed with my multiple successful websites has proven me as someone who can create a specific result online. I can grow audiences, I can grow email lists, and I can grow cash flow. So now I've broken this up into my 7-step blueprint. This is my blueprint that I've followed, that I've used multiple times over on multiple sites. That's what I give away, and it's converting very, very well for me because it's a proven system. So I think when you're using the systems and the guides and the blueprints, you want to kind of either break it up into the number of steps or the number of minutes. So like the 7-step blueprint to whatever it is, or the 9-step or the 5-step, could be 3 steps, or the 10-minute guide to blank, right? The 10-minute guide to intermittent fasting. And you're kind of giving them the understanding that they're going to get the full guide and it's going to be quick and easy to consume. That's the key here. And a 7-step blueprint feels quick and easy to consume, even if each step is rather comprehensive, which they might appreciate, right? Because I want high quality people personally. I want people who look at all of the work. I want them to be willing to do the work. So I'm happy to go comprehensive on this level of training, but ultimately you want it to feel at the moment it's displayed as an offer on the opt-in page, you want it to feel relatively simple. I've also tested on the steps. Odd numbers seem to test better than even numbers for me. You might want to test it in your world, but I think you could just start off running with the odd numbers for the number of steps. Seems to test better for me. Now, whether people are starting a brand new hobby, whether they're committing to a specific result like dieting or weight loss or weight gain, muscle gain, or whether they're starting a side business, anything people do to go and they're willing to be new at, they're going to have to go through the learning curve. And they're probably going to do research on it. So two things are going to happen. Number one, they're going to suck at it right away because that's just where you are when you're in the beginning of the learning curve. Whether you're trying to learn how to fly racing drones, whether you want to learn how to quilt, whether you want to learn how to crochet, you're just not going to be good at it your first times. Then the natural tendency today is to go watch YouTube videos, to go read blogs, to go look at Pinterest, to go consume content, to get in the Facebook groups, and then overwhelm kicks in. So not only are we not feeling competent, we're not very good at it, but we're also overwhelmed with the amount of information that is out there. And I think that that's the big 1-2 punch of the challenge. So when you give people a roadmap that helps them feel confident so they can take action, and when you sell deeper dive trainings on all those pieces in the roadmap, it's a great way to get them ready to buy. It's a great way to get them on the path to success. Guides and blueprints also allow you to really go deep and reveal the root problem, okay? Most people are looking to solve the symptoms, but there's often an underlying root problem. And when you show the path, but you also focus in on the big challenges, there's a magical thing that happens, right? When you are the person who best explains the problem, you're always perceived as the one with the solution. So you don't always want to give them the exact solution here. You often want to just get them really clear on what the root problem is in this scenario, because once you've explained that better than anyone else, and they're like, wow, this person gets me, they get the problem, they get the challenges that I'm going through because you did the work from the customer avatar training, at that moment, the logical connection that happens is, well, they obviously can help me solve the problem then. If they're that clear about the problem, and boy, this is right, I feel it on every level of my being, they know exactly what my problem is and why it's a problem. Okay, they obviously know how to solve the problem. So then the trick is a guide or a blueprint they can get in, they can start taking action, they start seeing results in their world, they're a better knitter, they're a better snowboarder, they're a better first-person drone racer, whatever it is. Then at that point in time, they're ready to consider your other products, right? The belief is being built in that point in time. And then there's templates. I really think that templates are some of the most valuable. And I've got a couple of phony headlines here for you. And I just want you to feel what you feel when I say this. And this was an example of what a headline on an opt-in page could be. So, free Facebook ad template that generated $75,000 in revenue in 1 month. Would you like that Facebook ad template? How about this one? Get my autoresponder sequence that has generated $300,000 in revenue in the last year. Yeah, interested in that one? So there's a feeling and a belief around a template that, wow, I could just go take this template, I could rework it, I could plug in my stuff. Man, that would probably, even if it didn't get me those exact numbers, boy, if I even got close, that would be magnitudes better than what I'm doing. So templates, from the standpoint of the user, feel very easy to implement, and they also feel very confidence-inducing. It makes them feel like, wow, even if I don't get that exact extreme result that they got, I'll probably get a pretty good result. And that pretty good result will probably be better than what I've been getting on my own. You know what? I am going to grab this template and I am going to give it a shot. And you're getting them into action quickly. And that's what really makes it so powerful here. The audience, when you're offering it from the landing page, they can see themselves implementing a template fast and easy. It's something you can do in a couple of minutes, in a half hour, in 5-10 minutes, right? So the belief is instantly placed that this could work for me and that they can get a similar result that you got with it. So it's the best way to give them a quick and easy win, which is huge for you long term. And if you help them have one quick and easy win, then they're going to believe that you can help them get even more. Another cool thing is templates are often really easy for you to create. You can go back through what's worked for you and figure out how to templatize it, right? You might not want to give them your exact subject line. You might not want to give them your exact Facebook ad. You might not want to give them your exact quilt template, but maybe you do. Or maybe you can make it generic enough to where you take out the exact thing you have in and you just make it a little bit more generic so it becomes a fill in the blank kind of a thing that gets them to replicate your success in their own way. And again, this can work for everything from cooking to cleaning to yard work to building out a garden. I mean, there are templates and plans can be used in woodworking and metalworking and welding, as well as the digital world, right? The Pinterest ads template or whatever it might be for you in this world. So it makes templates extremely desirable. They're extremely actionable. They have a very high likelihood of helping your audience actually get on the path and start to experience the results. And of course, you want the results you'll get them in your paid course, the things that they'll hear about after they opt in, you want those results to be similar with what these results are. Meaning, if you have a Facebook ads course, giving away a Facebook ads template makes sense. If you have a Facebook ads course, giving away a Pinterest ads template does not make any sense, right? Again, preparing them to buy is one of the keys of what a lead magnet does. And nobody talks about that, but that is actually the key to what this works. So then once you choose which one for you works best, you get into actually creating your lead magnet. You need to really start with looking at the result you've created in your life and the consistent result that you've helped your one-on-one clients and your students and the people you've helped for free achieve as well, right? Again, we as digital marketers are helping people get results based on what we've been able to accomplish. We aren't making things up as we go along. We're basing what we deliver to people on our real world experiences and results. So look back into your history. What have you done? What have you done that crushed it? What have you done that flopped, right? Where can you pull these templates and these checklists? What systems have you created or synthesized that you've learned along the years that now you're just replicating this system over and over? And maybe you're able to pop out quilts 5 times faster than everyone else because you have a quilting system that you've kind of developed through the years. You learned a little bit from grandma, you learned a little bit from the neighbor lady, you found that person on YouTube, and you've made a synthesis of a variety of things, and your quilting process is the fastest way to make great warm quilts. And by the way, winter is coming, right? Like that's what you're looking for. And then you really just need to break it up into phases and steps. So you want to take time to map out your overall framework, your system, or your processes. For me, this is a very messy process. I don't know of any neat and tidy ways to do this. I generally start with free writing. So I'll take notes as I'm doing things. When I'm ready to teach someone something, whether it's a teammate of mine, whether it's a client, whether it's an inner circle member, I start by taking notes on what I do. I look at my process, whether I can go through that process now again. So let's say I want to teach how to do Facebook ads. Well, when I go launch my next Facebook ad campaign, I'm going to just take detailed notes on what I do in what order. And oftentimes I find that I'm very inefficient in my ordering, which we'll talk about how to figure that out in a minute. But what I just want to get it down, right? And when I say get it down, I prefer to use a pen and real paper. I got to bring it into the real world here at this phase. Once I get all the bits and pieces down, I just free write for a while. And I try to write out my explanation of it. So this whole training that you're going through right now actually was 3 full-on pages in my notebook, 8.5 by 11, no lines, just handwritten. And I just wrote as much as I could to get the whole process. And not just the steps, but my explanation of the steps is what came out in this next phase, right? So step 1 was just try to get those steps out as best I could. Part 2 was to write out the steps and their explanations, freehand, super scribble. No one ever really looks at this but me. I sometimes can't even read my own writing because I'm going quickly here. I'm just trying to brain dump the ideas. And then what I do is I go back through with a different colored pen usually, and I start to underline the key pieces. I underline those little quotes, my little quotables that came out, and I'm like, oh, that actually sounded pretty good, right? So I'll underline all of those, and I transfer the steps with those main bullet points, which are the quotables, onto either Post-it notes or 3x5 cards. Now, some people can go straight into like a PowerPoint presentation at this point, and sometimes I do that, but I'm usually not really as organized as I feel like I should be to teach this. So I'll put it onto Post-it notes and 3x5 cards, and that allows me to move things around. And so then I can start to put the different pieces in the different places, and I kind of talk it out loud, and I'll be, oh man, well actually that step needs to be after that step. So I'll move the 3x5 cards around a little bit, and I'll add notes to the back of the cards or on the Post-it notes, because I'll have an expansion. I'll kind of explain it aloud as if I'm sitting there, as if I'm doing it for my YouTube channel, for example, or as if I'm sitting there with a friend explaining to them this process. there's something that happens when you speak it out loud, just even in rough draft mode, that hearing it bounce off the walls often makes me think like, I can't say that like that, or I need to add that, or if I tell them this, I need to reference back to the last training, the customer avatar training, or whatever that may be. Then once you have your 3x5 cards, you get it in the right order. From here, you can often put it into whether it's an outline, a Word doc, a PowerPoint presentation, whatever that actual mechanism needs to be, a series of questions for your interview, etc., etc. That's really it. Once I'm confident I've got the process, the template, the 7-step blueprint in the right order, I just make it into a draft. And sometimes I'm sitting on 8 steps and I'm like, oh man, I really want this to be 7 steps. And I'll find a way to mash up 2 of the steps, right? And I'll find a way to make 2 of those 3x5 cards marry each other to become one thing. And I might have to change the name and I might have to reorganize it. But that's really what we're working at in this is what are those core pieces? What are those core steps? What are those core chunks? And then you want to actually build it out into a deliverable, into something that's delivered to them. So depending on what kind of lead magnet you choose, you're either going to create a PDF, an MP3, or an MP4 video, right? That's really it. You might have a call scheduler like Calendly if you're doing the one-on-one bookings type situation, but I really only recommend that for people who are absolute badasses at selling, right? If you are not an extremely competent like salesperson on the phone, don't go in the direction of generating more phone calls. Let's leverage the power of email marketing to build the relationship first before you go into that world. So really, ultimately, you're going to make a PDF, an MP3, or an MP4. You should host the PDFs or MP3s or the videos on a third-party system. You don't necessarily want to host these on your web server. You can in the short term, but when you start to get 50 leads a day, 30 leads a day, and you're delivering a bunch of audio files and PDFs, it can slow down your web server. So you want to use a third-party system. Amazon's AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, they have one that's called S3. It's Simple Something Sending Solutions. It's Amazon S3. It's essentially cloud, right? You use the cloud to deliver it. Or you can use Libsyn, Libsyn, most notably known for podcast delivery, but you can deliver videos, you can deliver MP3s, and you could also deliver PDFs from Libsyn. That's where I deliver most of my PDFs and a lot of those components. If it's a video training, you want to host it on Vimeo Pro. And Vimeo Pro versus YouTube is going to eliminate all of the distractions that come with YouTube. Someone could click on the title and disappear into the world of YouTube when you're trying to get them to watch your training, or when the training's done, YouTube tries to recommend all sorts of other videos, whereas Vimeo, you just get more control over that player. Again, eliminating distractions, what we talked about earlier, is one of the keys here. You want to really take time to create a high quality and branded deliverable that really conveys trust. Okay, the perceived value of everything you do is important from this point in the conversation with your audience. So people judge the book by the cover. You probably heard that, right? Don't judge a book by a cover. Well, we all do it. And if your document looks like an unformatted .doc with bad punctuation and hasn't been proofread, that's just going to reflect negatively on you. So you do want to hire, whether it's a PDF designer or an audio engineer or a video editor. If you don't have those skills, obviously if you've got those skills, just take time making it great. Go back through the audio file, pull out some of the ums and the uhs and the crutch words, and just really spend time mastering a great audio file if that's what you're doing. Okay. If it's a PDF, I didn't do a PDF. I did a kind of a series of web pages, but it was written content. I hired a copy editor and a proofreader, and I just spent the extra time and money. It took several days to go back and forth with them and to get it done. But now I know that the commas are in the right places and the periods are in the right places, and it reflects highly upon me. It's not glaring with these types of proofreading issues that are just showing up there. So again, people judge the books by the covers. So kind of work that in here. And then also, if you're doing a PDF, make it branded. Hire somebody to actually do a layout, get your logo up top, maybe a little bit of color involved. Make it a branded kind of piece that conveys more value than the simple, ugly typewriter looking Microsoft Word document. That's really it at this point in time. I will say, if you're hiring someone to do like a PDF design for you, you want to have a cover design made as well. And then you're going to want to get like a 3D image of the cover that looks like an actual book. This is going to be used on the landing page training. You're going to see that next. So if you're working with someone to create an inner design for that actual PDF document that delivers your checklist or your template, you might as well get like a cover created as well. That way you can use that and leverage that for the front end of your offer, from the front of your funnel, from your opt-in page. It will come in handy. Might as well have the same person do it there. So I use Fiverr, Fiverr.com. I also use Upwork.com. You might know somebody locally. Really, you can just get these one-off jobs done on Fiverr pretty easily, pretty effectively, relatively quick, and relatively inexpensive. And honestly, the key from this point here right now where you're at is speed of implementation. Creating your next opt-in page right away. This is something that should be able to be done in an afternoon or at longest in a weekend, okay? Because again, you want to create something that's easy to create for you, easy to consume for them. So a template, a checklist, a worksheet, those kinds of things, they should be easy for you to create, okay? So the faster you can get this lead magnet created, the better off you're going to be making progress. The universe rewards speed. So we need to get you into action, creating your lead magnet that's going to get your audience into action, helping them get their results fast. I really think you should be able to put together a checklist or a template in an afternoon. Video training, even like a video training, a multi-part video training should take no longer than a weekend, because it shouldn't be all that long. This is not your paid product. This is the free thing to get them into motion. So give yourself a definitive deadline. Right now, I want you to look at your calendar. I want you to pull out a calendar, and I want you to declare, I'm going to have my lead magnet done by blank. Make it aggressive. If it's Thursday, that thing needs to be done by Sunday evening. You need to really force yourself to get this out. And remember that iteration is required from here. So as I stated, it took me 3 different lead magnets. Each one I tested many different headlines on, but it took ultimately 3 different lead magnets for me to figure out the one that really works well, to where I was able to move on to the next steps in my business. That process was like 8 or 9 months, and I'm still to this very day testing new headlines for that thing, which we're going to talk about split testing in the future. I just want to reinforce the idea that this is not a once and done, okay, I checked it off my list, I'm done with this forever. It's never that kind of a scenario, because you can always create something that's more valuable for your audience, that can convert higher, that can get them into action faster, that prepares them to become a buyer more effectively. That's really the key, and that's what you learn. And how do you learn? Well, you learn by doing. You put out your best idea first and you get that going. And then we test it and we see how high we can get that opt-in rate. If we can get up to 45% or something, great. We can move on to the other aspects of your business. If we can't get you over 25, 30% conversion rate, after testing multiple headlines, we're going to come right back to the lead magnet, and we're going to have you test another new lead magnet, because the offer itself is more important than the headline. Headline's the second, but the offer's first. But we got to test a few of them. Okay, so we're going to go through all of this. But again, give yourself a deadline right now. Force yourself to get your next lead magnet. If this is your first lead magnet, great. I'm excited to get you on the path. Now, if you already have one and you're ready to build something that's going to be more effective, I invite you, let's dominate and let's increase your opt-in rate. Let's create something that's of more value for your audience. It's going to help them get better results more quickly, and it's going to better prepare them to buy your stuff. And whether that's your coaching, your products, your services, or even if it's the affiliate items you promote, what you deliver through your lead magnet is directly correlated to how much money you make on the back end. Because if you're not helping people take action, if you're not building the right beliefs, if you're not overcoming objections, if they don't believe you can help them get the results that they desire, that they value, they're never going to buy your stuff. But when they have that belief and those beliefs start to stack up and those objections start to dissolve, and they believe that A, I can do it. And then they believe B, you can help me get there. And then they believe C, your course, that's the thing that's been missing that will bridge the gap from where I'm at today to where I want to be. Selling is easy. You don't need fancy copywriting when they have those beliefs in place. This is why my wife and I have been so successful. It's this mechanism. It's this part of the business that leads into the emails that we'll talk about in the future trainings, but it all hinges right here on getting permission to follow up with them, getting permission to market to them, and ultimately getting permission and an invitation into their inbox so you can deliver more value, so you can help them on their path to more happiness in their lives, because that's what they're willing to invest in. All right, at this point, you understand how to create the lead magnet, but there's always a gap between, knowing how to do it or knowing what to do and actually implementing it. So kind of a game time decision on my part. I decided that I'm actually going to go through that process with you to help you see how quick and easy it was, because I said this is something you need to be able to do in an afternoon or on a weekend. It might feel and sound daunting, so we're just going to go through the process so you can see that it actually can be quite simple. Now, the first thing for me to look into is I have a few lead magnets, right? So for me, I need to come up with a new lead magnet. So I'm going to come up with a new customer avatar. And ultimately, I'm thinking about my world and what I teach and what is a result that I've created that other people are going to want to duplicate. This is a great starting point, right? Again, it all comes back to that thing that I can actually help my audience members do. So I'm going to focus in on YouTube for this, because now at this point of this recording, I'm at like 110,000 subscribers. So really helping people understand what it takes or giving them a checklist is what I'm thinking at this point, on how to get 100,000 subscribers. And the way I'm going to position this on the landing page, which we'll go through later, is, get the blank step checklist that grew my channel to 100,000 subscribers. My goal is to actually position the checklist as the thing that created the desired result. For this moment right now, you need to think back, what is that desired result that you're going to be able to help them accomplish? So for me, 100,000 subscribers. So we're going to jump on. I'm going to literally go through the process of brainstorming this and getting all my notes together. So let's get on the computer here. And now I'm just going to start kind of working with these ideas. So let me get my pen. So within the world of YouTube, there's a few phases, right? And I want to make this, my goal is to make this a one-page document. This is going to become a one-page PDF. And really, so phase one is essentially recording. Okay. And then phase two, I guess I should put a 1 there since I called that phase 1. Phase 2 is the actual publishing process. So this is where the bulk of the SEO comes in. And then phase 3 is like promoting. Okay, so this is like after publishing. So that's another way to say it, right? So this is kind of before, this is during publishing, the actual process. And then that's after. Really, I think that in here, this SEO, right, the actual process of publishing, I think that's the biggest thing. But I'm going to incorporate all three of these phases into it. I might have to rearrange things, or I'm going to stay flexible, right? Because I want this to be a one-page PDF. I may end up making a little video to go along with it to describe the PDF, but I don't know. Ultimately, I just need a YouTube publishing checklist. So these are my 3 phases. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to clear this screen and I'm just going to keep writing. And I'm really trying to just show you, when I say I just kind of brain dump ideas, I really do. So I'm going to talk about the publishing part first. So this is the phase 2 portion. So in the publishing, like the number one thing that they absolutely have to do is they have to do keyword research. Okay, cool. So number 1, keyword research. Have you identified your best keyword with high search volume and low competition? Now, why is this so important for my people in this scenario? Ultimately, it's because YouTube's a search engine, right? And that's why my channel grew so fast, is because of keyword research. So then they've got their keyword. Again, we have a video done at this point is what I'm thinking, because I'm in phase 2. So the second part is going to be the title. So at this point, it's the title, which is keyword at the front and a compelling to click title. In the members area here, you have access to my YouTube Publish Pro software, right? And that's kind of what I'm thinking through, is what are all those things I try to force people or coerce people to do with that software. One of the big things is, once you know your keyword, you want to get the title, you want to get the keyword at the beginning, but it needs to be compelling to click, right? So the title serves 2 audiences, the algorithm and ultimately the human, having that. So then number 3 is the description. Okay, so let's get that on here. So now the description has a few parts to it. So there's the first 120 characters. We want the keyword at the beginning, and we want the first 120 characters to be compelling, because that displays as a description. Perfect. So I've got the first 120 characters there. compelling and keyword at the beginning. So that's good for SEO. That's good for the click. And then the second part of the description. So I'm actually going to go kind of like number 4 here. So I'll call this description 1 and then description 2. So the second part of the description is long copy, right? So I want them to really fill out the text with descriptive text. So cool. So the second aspect of the description is that it's long copy, minimum of 300 words, relevant to your keyword. I can give them a little hack here. One thing I've been doing is using all 5,000 characters with my transcription. Okay, and then there's another part of the description, which is, I'm going to call that, I'm going to put number 5 here, and that's description 3. Perfect. So now even in writing this, I think the order for them, I would need to switch numbers 4 and 5, right? Because ultimately I want to get the links in before you fill up your 5,000 words of copy. That would just be an easier workflow. So just put a little arrow there for myself. Then tags are next. And then in my tags, I recommend, so we'll put 6 for tags. So on the tags, I recommend that they add at least 3 to 6 competitors first. Perfect. So tags 3 to 6 competitors first, and then the brand and the brand names, whether it's their name, their software name, their brand, their YouTube channel, etc., and then fill the rest of the tags with relevant content. And then the thumbnail is the other thing in the actual process. So number 7 is thumbnail. Okay, so for the thumbnail, I really want it to be compelling, right? It needs to get the click. It needs to have big text, not repeating. We don't want to repeat the title. We want to really induce curiosity to get the click. I'm going to put like color here also. So we need to have a note on color. So that's really it, right? So this is my phase 2. So I've got a 7-step process for phase 2. Now there's other components in here, right? There's the adding your subtitles. There's the adding cards if relevant, and end screens, etc. But those things, some people can't add cards, and there's some people aren't really interested in doing the actual transcriptions. So this is the core of it for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just write this down and have a note of it for myself. And then ultimately I want to go work on and just jot out the other phases so you can see how this all works. So let's go ahead and give you one quick second here. All right, so I've got this all noted down for myself, so I'm just going to erase this, and we're going to go on to, I'll go to phase, oops, let me get my pen here. I'm going to go to phase 3 because that kind of follows next. So phase 3 was post publishing, okay, and this is where we can do the cards, relevant videos, and calls to action. We'll say end screen. So then you can pin the top comment. You can pin the top comment with a question. Okay, this is engagement bait. Sharing on social media, groups, LinkedIn, Quora, relevant. Okay, so then you want to go link your old videos that are relevant. So you want to link your old relevant videos to the new video, and we can do that one of 3 ways: through the description, cards, end screen, or obviously through all 3. And then let's make a podcast out of it. And then might as well make a blog post. Now, ultimately, all of these are optional, okay? The phase 2 that I covered first, that's the core. That's really, if they do that every time with the keyword research and the focus, that's going to help. Like, are these things going to help? Sure, each one of these things could help, but when someone's pressed for time, I need to make sure they do what we covered first there. So give me one more quick second. I'm going to note this all down, and then I'm going to do the next part for you. Okay, with that all noted down, now I'm going into the pre-publish. So this is actually phase 1, and this kind of just goes to show you I'm all over the place, right? I'm just getting the ideas out. So phase 1 is pre-publishing. So or we'll just say pre-publishing / production. So in the first 30 seconds, you can ask a question. Okay, so that's engagement bait. So you ask a question in the first 30 seconds and you have them answer in the comments. That's designed to get them to actually engage on the video, which will move the search engine kind of algorithm in your favor. You can ask for a like during the video, during the first minute of the video. So you can ask for the like or the thumbs up in the video in the first 60 seconds. You obviously wouldn't want to do all of these, but ultimately you could do some of these some of the time. And then there's the cliffhanger. So then there's the cliffhanger. In the beginning of the video, you could say, hey, at the end, I'm going to share my number one favorite blank, whatever that is. You're seeding them. You're opening a loop, if you will, that's going to ultimately make them want to stay to the end of the video, which could increase your watch time. And then the final thing that you would want to do in the production side of things is to speak out your main keyword. So now even in this, I'm starting to realize and see, if this is phase one pre-publishing and they need to speak out their main keyword, I need to get them to do keyword research at the very beginning. So I think I'm just going to put keyword research in here again. So it's kind of like video idea to, so really, with the organization of these ideas in phase one, they have to do keyword research first. And this is how I'm literally building what order is this going to be laid out on the document, right? So they have to do keyword research first. So they're going to have a video idea in mind that they want to produce, and they'll need to go look and cross-reference what keyword is actually searched for that. And they have to do that so they can actually speak out the main keyword in the beginning, and then they'll use that same keyword in the title, the description, as we did in phase two. So at this point, I'm going to actually just get into Microsoft Word, and I'm going to try to organize this in a way that it's all like bullet points. It's all kind of neat and tidy. And this is what I'll end up sending over to a designer who will be able to kind of work with it from here to create my actual one-page PDF. So that's it. Really, I wanted to show you the brainstorming. Now, remember, so I've made 570 videos or something crazy like that at this point. So I've been through the process so many times that I know it by heart, right? I've got it down. This is my exact process. I'm not ripping off I'm not ripping off something somewhere. This is just what I do. And I truly believe that when people follow this process, I think this process is what helped me grow to 100,000 subscribers so quickly, right? It's because keyword research, because I created great content that's engaged with, because I create great content that ranks well in the YouTube search engine. And when people use this process, when they habituate this process, they're going to get that same result. Therefore, it's a perfect checklist. So this is really how I created my checklist. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on, you won't follow along this part. I'm going to try to speed it up here, and I'll show you the final document. This really is just a basic outline here of everything that you saw me come up with. Now, some things are really important, so I've bolded them. I'm wondering, the asterisk is kind of like these are optional things. And I don't know exactly how this is going to get laid out, right? But these are all of the ideas. And I even added a few. I had a few ideas of things that were like, ooh, I forgot about that once I typed it up. This is why I like to go through ideas in multiple phases, starting with brainstorming first before actually typing it up, because I usually find one or two things that I was missing. So from here, I'm going to go hire someone on Fiverr in order to make this kind of beautiful for me. So let's go over to Fiverr, and here I am on Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and I just searched for PDF checklist designer, and you can see right here I've got someone. I will design your checklist professionally, starting at $15, pro workbook and checklist. So what I'm looking at here is their star rating and the number of reviews. So I don't like that they only have 5 reviews here. I even think 10 to 14 is low. So I'm going to scroll down and kind of look around here real quick. And now, so you see here I'm at 77 reviews. I've got 63 reviews on this. Okay, this person right here, 426 reviews, 5 stars. This is what I look for. When I'm looking on Fiverr, I want hundreds and hundreds of great reviews. So this is up to 5 pages for $35. And I mean, that would be it, right? So I need to get a few more of my ideas together. I might add some hyperlinks in this. I want to figure out what's optional, what's not, but this is really the process. And then once I send this over to the designer, excuse me, let me go to the right page. There it is. Once I send this over to the right person, to the right designer, I'm then going to move on to the landing page side, which is where I'll meet you on that next video. Okay, and this is what I got back from that Fiverr gig. So I did end up purchasing from that same individual. Now this cost me $10 in fees for the actual service provider. Fiverr charges $2, and then I did pay an extra $10 to get the editable source file because I wanted that if I wanted to make any changes. But with that said, I went back and forth with the service provider a couple of times. There were some typos, and I just wanted to reorganize things a little bit. And I really like what we came up with. So for about $12 invested, if you don't have skills to do this on Canva or whatever. And this is what we came up with. So we've got the main steps in the order I realized. I've got my kind of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 broken out to really make sense. And then all of the different optional stuff. And I made it hit the 11 steps so I could use that 11-step process that grew me to 100,000 as kind of my big headline. Okay. So now I've got my PDF. I've got my actual lead magnet done. What do you do with it from here? How do you actually get that in place? So from here, I've got a step-by-step blog post that shows exactly how to get this going. So if you go to my website, milesbeckler.com, right here on top, it says start your email list. If you click on this, you'll see I actually walk you through the process of building it out. It's a free landing page builder. And when you sign up and get going, you also get up to 1,000 email subscribers for free. So it's a completely free email marketing system. You get to build the landing pages, and you can see I'm literally building out this landing page for the 11-step guide. We changed the button color. Everything gets set up all the way down to the bottom, how to deliver the PDF, at the end of it. So all of this, again, is on the milesbeckler.com blog. Click on start your email list. Now, if you're using another system, if you already have a landing page design system, you're on LeadPages, which I personally pay for and use, or if you're using Thrive Themes with Architect, which I personally pay for and use, just search on YouTube, Miles Beckler opt-in page design. This top video right here that says steal my high converting opt-in page. This shows exactly what the best converting layout is when you're using a dedicated page builder. You can't build this on the free system, but if you've already invested in a tool, I highly recommend watching that. And then obviously there's more videos for here. And then finally, email marketing is a rabbit hole. Email marketing, there's a lot to learn in the world of email marketing. So you can always search Miles Beckler email marketing. If you want to write an autoresponder, my wife and I talk about the autoresponder she created. This is a brilliant video here. I think this is one of my more underrated videos. Strategically, how to write emails that actually get open and turn into customers. I write the email in real time on this video. I show you how to go from idea all the way down to making it happen. So just Miles Beckler email marketing is what you would search up there. And that's it. You now understand and have all of the bits and pieces that are required to build out your first marketing funnel, your first lead generation funnel, if that's where you're at, or you now know what to do to make your next one. I want to remind you that it takes testing. Okay. It takes perseverance. You might have to watch this video 2 or 3 times to really let it all sink in. Great. Go through it again. Take notes again if needed. And I commend you. You're one of the few people who have made it to the end. Most people don't take action. Most people never actually commit themselves to jumping in the unknown, to building and producing something. As you saw here, it's not all that difficult, but your best first guess might not work, just like my first one didn't work. Your best second guess might not work that great. It took me 3 tries and dozens of headlines and dozens of split tests to ultimately find what works. But here's the cool part. Once it's dialed in and that lead generation system has been working for me, I've been converting approximately 55 to 60% of people who go to milesbeckler.com/free-course. And whoever goes there, about 55 to 60% of people actually opt in. They get on my list. I get to build a relationship and my business grows from there. My wife's list has had over 500,000 subscribers on it. This is the keys to building and running a successful business online. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have questions for me, get at me in the comments. If you think this was a great video, feel free to share it. Please share it on social, tweet about it, put it out on Reddit, get it out to those who need a little bit of help in this time, getting going in the right direction, and or just go create something awesome, create something amazing for your people that gets them ready to buy your stuff. You'll be amazed at how well this works within your business model. I wish you all the success in the world. I'm here to help. I'm gonna keep putting out videos for you, so subscribe, hit the bell, like, do what you do, and I will catch you on the next video. Until then, be well, my friend.